Hi there, it's Jenna from scribblinggrace.com. Today I'm going to do another Bible Journal with Me tutorial video. This time I'm using a medium that I've never used before, which is masking fluid. So I will get to that in a second, but I just want to point out that I did this really quick little He Restores My Soul printable on my iPad, and I will add that to the blog post that goes along with this video in case you're interested in using it in some way. But I'm just going to use that, and then this masking fluid from Amazon, it was about $8, a size 2 round paintbrush, and I will touch on that in a second as well. I'm using a very cheap paintbrush, and there's a reason to that. And then I have a paper towel. So masking fluid is kind of like a glue-like substance. You basically just paint it on and let it dry, and then you can paint over it and do things on top of it, and then you let that dry, and then you rub off the masking fluid or peel it off, and it leaves the original background. So here, because I'm painting it directly on my Bible page, I'm going to paint over it with some watercolors, and then I'll peel that off and it'll leave my original Bible page below it. So it's kind of like a little protector, and it's really fun to use. I've learned a couple things. The biggest thing I want to point out is that it ruins your paintbrush, and that's okay. Just make sure that you're using a cheap paintbrush, and make sure that you're setting that aside as your masking fluid paintbrush, I guess. The masking fluid kind of gets all stuck in the bristles and doesn't really come out with water or anything. You'll also see me very often swiping my brush on my paper towel. I'm just trying to keep it as clean as possible so that it keeps working as easily as it can, I guess. It gets a little tricky, but it still wasn't anything hard. Like, I wouldn't discourage you from trying it just because the brush gets a little chunky, I guess. It's still a really fun thing to try. And I also want to point out that they have masking fluid in a bunch of other forms. So they have masking fluid as pens, and they have masking fluid as like with a little needle tip on it that you can squeeze out. And those I'm really interested to try, but I really like the idea of having a little tub of masking fluid because I like the idea of having freedom to use a paintbrush. And so just keep that in mind. I'll put the link to the masking fluid that I'm using again in the blog post that goes along with this video at scribblinggrace.com/masking fluid. And I'll put the links to all the supplies that I'm using, and again, that little printable. And I'll also go a little more in depth on what masking fluid is and how to use it. But yes, so I just painted on, I just traced over that printable. It was super duper simple, and I'm making sure that my masking fluid is completely dry. It's really important that it's completely dry. And now I'm just going to go ahead and paint some watercolor over it. You can't really see it too well because my masking fluid is white. Again, they have blue masking fluid as well and everything. I think they have like blue and yellow, but mine was white, so it's a little harder to see, but still, you can still see it. It doesn't show up too well in this video. But one of my favorite parts of this was when you paint over it with the watercolor doesn't stick to the masking fluid, so it's kind of like you see this little hidden message pop out, which I thought was entertaining. But maybe I'm just easily amused. So I'm just doing a really easy little field here. I just wanted a simple little landscape, and I purposely put my white masking fluid in the sky part of it because I wanted it to look like clouds-ish. But yeah, I just wanted to keep it really simple. He Restores My Soul. I am using my Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolor set. I'll put the link to that again in the blog post that goes along with this video. And I'm just using a bunch of different hues of blue for the top, and then a couple different hues for the grass. And I switched over to a, I believe it was a 1/2-inch flat paintbrush to do all of my painting, my watercolor painting. Just really quick and easy. So to do the little grass at the bottom, first I blot it on and then I'll dry it in a second, and then I'm going to add some new grass swipes because I didn't like my original grass look, I guess. And I'm just holding my paintbrush horizontally and just swiping upward, and so then that'll give me the really thin little strokes, a little bit easier than switching brushes into a round brush or anything, and gives me a really easy little grass image. Last thing I want to note is that I am not one to spend very much money on my Bible journaling supplies. So it was kind of rare for me to splurge on this masking fluid, and I do think it is a really fun supply to have in store. I feel like it was worth the $8 to have around. I'm not sure how much I'll use it, but if you're thinking about it, it's a fun thing to try. And yeah, I just rub it off. It came off super duper easily, and I really was happy with the way the page turned out. That's about it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to check out that blog post. I'll put that in the description below as well, and find me on Instagram or Facebook as well. I'd love to hear from you. All right, God bless.